These are the 4 keys to hiring right as an experienced business owner going from 0 to 15 million with over 60 full-time employees now. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to implement them. I'll show you the free way we used to hire, and I'll show you a paid way after we tested out 5 to 6 solutions. By the end, you'll be confident in your hiring right process and how to attract top talent. Remember, people are what make up your business. Without great people and great talent, you cannot adapt and thrive in an ever-evolving marketplace. So you must nail this strategy effectively. We're gonna go over 4 keys, and I'm gonna actually talk about them high level, and then towards the end of the video, I'm actually gonna show you in the studio how you can actually do this and screen share and kind of walk you through the tools and the processes so you can actually implement this for your business today. Real quick, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow so we can make more content like this. Key number 1, you have to define the job effectively. If you don't define your job effectively, you're starting with yourself way behind the race. So when you think about defining your job effectively, make sure that you start with the end in mind. And by that, what I mean is think about the output of your job. You want to think about what is it that this person is going to do and what sort of strategic outputs are they going to actually provide for my business. So when you think about that, think about what are the outputs, what are the activity goals, and is it something that you can actually sort of quantify when you think about if there's a sales target, a sales number, something you can benchmark. The second thing on key number 1 is making the job description attractive. Remember, when you're putting a job description out there, you're actually marketing your company, your brand to your prospective prospects. And so it's important that you make the job match the sort of vibe and the culture that you want to demonstrate to prospective candidates that don't know who you are. And so I see a lot of jobs out there and job descriptions where it's very sort of bullet point, vanilla. It doesn't really touch or add character or creativity. That can be fine if that's what you're trying to attract. But if you're actually wanting to bring maybe a different vibe or some fun or some character in terms of the candidates, consider adding a little flair, not going overboard with it. And we'll talk about this in the how-to section. I'll actually show you how we do our job descriptions, but just giving it some inkling of fun and variety so it's a little different, it stands out to top candidates. Be clear on your job requirements. If you're not clear on your job requirements, you're gonna have a lot of trouble because you're gonna get unqualified candidates. Make sure in the job description somewhere you have, hey, you need to have this level of experience, you need to have these specific skills, you need to be having experience in this industry so that you can really filter down and make sure that you're not getting a ton of applicants that just aren't qualified. Early on for us in my business, there were really 2 big challenges with hiring. 1, we were not getting a lot of responses from our jobs, but then 2, once we figured that out and crafted our job descriptions and where to promote our jobs, we were not getting qualified applicants. We were getting a lot of stuff and a lot of people that just were not a good fit. So think about how and what is really required in terms of skills, in terms of experience, in terms of past qualifications when crafting your job description. Describe some extra qualities that the candidates can have. Sometimes you can think of some qualities that can really make the candidate stand out even further from the competition when applying. So if you're in a competitive marketplace, this can be a really powerful way to filter even further on the job description. So you have your requirements, gotta haves, must haves, and then you have the nice to haves, the extras that really maybe set that candidate up to separate themselves from those who might also already have the gotta haves. So key number 2 is screening applicants effectively. And if you wanna be really effective with this, I would recommend you either employ some kind of software, which we'll show again at the end here, or you end up creating your own Google form. And so not only in the job description will you be writing out kind of the requirements, the got to have, to make it pretty clear to the applicants before they even apply what they should be having, but you're gonna send a form to people that's actually gonna have a few questions in there. And I recommend you send these 3 questions in your form. The GWC framework from Gino Wickman's How to Be a Great Boss is a big sort of general framework that keeps things simple. And GWC stands for gets it, wants it, and has the capacity to do it. Whenever you're thinking about a specific role in your company or hiring potential talent to join the company, think about if that talent gets the job, meaning they understand what the job is, they want the job, they have the right reasons, motivations, and desires for actually taking on this specific job, and that they have the capacity, the emotional, the physical, the actual time and mental capabilities to actually do the job in an effective way, solving complex problems, thinking analytically, whatever the capacities required of that job, does this person have it? And you can kind of flat out ask them and steer them and give them context in your form to get their responses of do they understand the job, do they want it, and do they have capacity for it? And this is kind of what we follow when we interview as well. But for you, I think this is a really helpful way to sort of think about this when you're thinking about one of the most important keys, which is screening your applicants effectively when they first come in. The third key is to promote the job effectively. Assuming you followed the first two keys and you're really clear on your job description, your screening process, what your application form looks like, you got to get your word out there. Any sort of effective marketing plan is going to have a good, strong push of that great product and brand to a large amount of eyeballs. And that's the same thing when it comes to promoting your job effectively. And there's many ways you can do this. Now, if you get into the tools, as we'll talk about later in the video, you can actually use some of these tools to syndicate out, to send out the job to multiple kind of career sites, things like Career Builder, Indeed, LinkedIn, Craigslist. But initially, what I recommend, and this is something we built a lot of our company on in terms of the people that joined, was putting out a referral program internally. Focus on hiring internally if you can. If you're happy with your culture right now and the people that work in your business, think about doing an internal referral program. I worked at Microsoft for nearly 4 years, and then I was at Zillow for another 4 years. And during my times at those companies, some of the best hiring, and what I found often was the case, was that they hired by referral, and they would offer bonuses to employees that would refer in top talent. And often referrals bring you the highest retention, the highest quality candidates. People that come in or vouch for a referral are going to put their kind of reputation on the line. And so it adds a level of quality to the potential candidate that's coming in the front door when they come via referral. The next couple ways I recommend promoting the job is through your own social media feeds. Think about your Facebook wall and your LinkedIn specifically wall and Twitter and all the sort of social media feeds that you're on where you have followers and connections. When you do that, you often have people that will be seeing what you're promoting because they're like-minded. They've connected with you, they know who you are. There's some instant kind of credibility from the job posting you're putting out there. And we've hired several people that way. And I recommend that as well. So referral by your social connections, promoting that way. Then it really kind of comes down to the audience you're looking for to pick a platform and think about where you want to promote the job further. In our case, we were actually looking at social media hires, people who are really fascinated with social media. So we ran ads for leads on social media, but we also knew what we were doing. I probably would say that's a more advanced technique for someone that's not as experienced in the marketing realm, but you can go to the websites like LinkedIn or Indeed or Career Builder or Monster, and all of these sort of platforms will end up showing you the types of jobs, and you'll be able to set up an employer profile and go ahead and promote there. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like a bit more in the how-to and what I'm showing at the bottom. But the main thing is think about where your audience is, and if you don't know, go Google your type of job and see what comes up. See where you're getting job listings and potential employers listing and promoting the actual role or similar roles to what you're trying to hire. But ultimately, that's going to help you a lot. So again, number one, referral. Number two, social media platforms that you are already connected with. And then ultimately, then kind of doing your research and seeing where your main folks, the avatar of person, candidate, qualified top candidate you want is going to most likely be as far as career sites go. That's going to help you figure out and target and tailor your promotion of your job listing to the person. The fourth key is actually around effectively keeping an applicant tracking system or some way to kind of keep a talent pool of candidates so that you can go to that well and draw from it as your business grows and you need more and more people to support certain roles and jobs. And there's a number of ways you can do this. The typical HR term is called an applicant tracking system, an ATS. And that's not only for like keeping the talent pool and keeping kind of that's not only for keeping a talent pool, but it's like keeping a database of all the applicants you've ever received or maybe current and past employees, but it helps you kind of track all of that. You can kind of go overboard with this. I think you just want to keep something very simple, but ultimately you want to have some way to document and track and have what they call like an ATS system where you can do that, and then get very complicated and very expensive. So I'm going to show you in the next bit here how we can kind of do this. But I just want to mention that that is a really important thing because hiring is a numbers game. And if you don't hire effectively and you don't have a lot of numbers to work with in terms of potentially qualified candidates, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot and you're limited in the opportunity and the potential to pick the best candidates and talent to join your team. Welcome to the studio. So I recorded the entire applicant tracking demo video here in the studio and showed my screen and did all the sort of run through of how I would do it if I was doing it free and what we did to compare and look through the paid options. And I realized that video is basically an entire video in and of itself, and it doesn't fit really the mold of what we want to do with this video. So I'm going to link that video in this video. And if you're new and this is brand new to you, it will be dropping in about 2 days. So stay tuned for that, and I'll drop that video there. Thank you all for making it this far. I really appreciate it. For now, just soak up these principles, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.